The United States, European Union, and other countries have imposed tough sanctions against Iran in an attempt to stop the country's nuclear development. But Israel's government says the measures may not be enough. Some of the country's officials are threatening a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. Now, in the judicial arena, Israeli attorneys are using another tactic. They're imposing legal sanctions on Iran and are winning massive financial judgments. From Jerusalem, NHK World's Kohei Suji explains.
Every year, a conservative Jewish organization gives awards to people it thinks have made contributions to Israel's national interests. Earlier this year, Nitsana Darshan-Leitner was chosen for winning large compensations in lawsuits against countries accused of being state sponsors of terrorism, including Iran.
לנו היא הארץ הזו, ומי שרוצה להשמיד אותנו, ומי שרוצה לסלק אותנו מארצנו, אנו נילחם בו.
Shlomo Leibovich is the plaintiff represented by Nitsana in a lawsuit. He lost one of his daughters in a terrorist attack in Israel 9 years ago. Another daughter was seriously injured. Here is how the lawsuit proceeded. The attackers were believed to be Palestinian militants belonging to the group Islamic Jihad. But the plaintiff sued the Iranian government, claiming it was financially involved in supporting the group. The judicial battle took place in the United States. U.S. law allows governments of countries listed as state sponsors of terrorism to be sued. The plaintiff's lawyer called experts to testify at the hearing at the Illinois District Court to prove Iran's involvement in the case. In February last year, the court partially accepted the plaintiff's argument and ordered Iran to pay about $52 million in compensation.
If everyone will act and sue countries that are involved, I believe it will minimize countries from being part of terror.
When she wins a lawsuit, Nitsana searches the U.S. for seized assets of the sued government and demands their handover. She has so far found and seized $120 million of assets from countries like Iran and other organizations.
Military fights terrorism militarily. The governments fight terrorism diplomatically. Both of them cannot do what we do. Governments have political constraints, they have foreign relationships they have to take into consideration, they have international treaties that are signed off. We don't have any constraints.
Nitsana gets support from Jewish Americans for her legal battles in the United States. Here, she's meeting Jewish lawyers and judges invited from the U.S. She takes them on a tour of Israel's northern border with Lebanon. This is where the Shia Muslim movement, Hezbollah, is based. Iran is believed to be supporting the group. Nitsana stressed that fighting and winning compensation from the Iranian government will eventually bring peace to Israel.
By obstructing Iran from using the hard currency, we're obstructing them from funding terrorism. We all know that money moves everything. It's right for terror organizations as well. And in order to collect it, we need long arms in different countries. So we bring all these people from Europe, from the United States, from Canada, to build these connections that will help us.
Hello. Taking advantage of U.S. law to put pressure on Iran seems to be a winning strategy for Israeli attorneys. They are using it as another weapon to stop Iran's nuclear development.
And Kohei Suji now joins us from Jerusalem. Kohei, so what do Israelis think of these legal tactics?
Right. Many people seem to strongly support them. In May this year, A similar lawsuit saw the Israeli side beat the governments of Iran and Syria in court. The media here gave a lot of coverage to the case, and lawyers were treated like national heroes. People I talked to on the streets of Jerusalem said the lawsuit was filed to seek justice on behalf of Israelis who have been killed in past terrorist attacks. It seems as if the public is supporting this legal fight against Iran, not only politically and militarily, but also at the grassroots level. This apparently shows just how much anti-Iran sentiment is growing in Israel.
But what about Iran? How are officials there reacting?
Right. For the most part, Iranian government has been trying to ignore these tactics. Iranian officials say the claims are baseless, with no concrete evidence. They see no ground for Israeli accusations that Iran is supporting organizations that carry out attacks. But Iran cannot afford to ignore this development. Israeli attorneys have successfully seizing Iran's frozen asset in the United States and elsewhere. So Iranian government is now fighting back in court, represented by its own lawyers. So the dispute in the judicial arena between Israel and Iran looks set to grow amid the US and the EU try to put more pressure on the governments of Tehran with tougher sanctions.
Kohei, thank you for that. NHK World's Kohei Suji from Jerusalem.